All by myself. Don't wanna be. We didn't leave you hanging, Fergie. We didn't leave you hanging. Welcome, everyone, to Amateur Hour Commentary. For those who don't know who I am the Wolf Crazy, aka Almighty Onimusha. You'll find me in-game periodically from time to time. Wasn't sure what was expected. I see there are some people in chat over on Twitch. We are also live over on YouTube. So big shout out to Darlene Dubois, who is watching from the YouTube channel. If you don't know what we're here for, the Alvo World League, which has had the 3 wonderful seasons and prepping for a 4th one, we have also started a Challenger League, which was previously known as a minor league, but that seemed a little demeaning, so it kind of changed the name to Challenger League and made a little bit more sense. This league is designed specifically for people who have not competed at a higher level like the Alvo World League in the past. And furthermore, it is for players who are interested in joining the Alvo World League, but not really ready for that level of intensity, because anyone who has watched the past 3 seasons knows that there's some pretty high level gameplay going on in the Alvo World League. So it's like Little League. I mean, I would say that, but sure. Yeah, just in case anyone was wondering, Justin Johnson is offline. But we are going to review the rules today. Now, these rules are going to mirror the Alvo World League rules quite a bit, but there's a little bit of a change given the fact that it's not going to be a round robin kind of series to determine seeding, but it's just going to be a bracket, a tournament bracket. However, the procession of each match is going to be relatively the same. If you have any questions or if there's anything that needs to be brought up or anything that you have concerns about, now would be the time to do it. What's going on, Joker? How's it going? Shout out to people in chat, Puddle, Shell, Fergie, Joker, Darlin over on YouTube, and anyone else who is deciding to join after the fact. This will be up over on YouTube as well. Just for reference, it might not stay up here on the Twitch channel. It will likely stay up over on the YouTube channel. To pull more players and pull more teams into the competitive league, area, I would share this video with them. I know people tend to get a little intimidated by the concept of competing in a league. Hopefully this will, quell some of those anxieties. So try to stall for just a minute. I'm trying to get some of the competitors in here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Also, just a big shout out to the sponsors. Pull more people. Yeah. let's tug. We only technically have one sponsor, but I want to give a shout out to a couple of the companies that have helped us in the past 3 seasons. Start off with JD's House of Trophies. They're also our replay sponsor. JD's House of Trophies has supported us all 3 the seasons of the Alvo World League and provided us wonderful trophies. Now, it's not on them why some of these trophies get to the winners late. That is more on me. I don't have a perfect system and I don't order these things too far in advance. However, awards are given in whole packages, but JD's House of Trophies has been a wonderful support. Not only do they help with the costs, but they also provide excellent customer service from great communication from the owner himself. They provide a great product. Their website is easy to navigate. Everything is customizable. I'm so glad that Karen, who is our mod and pretty much the mother of our channel, she turned me on to JD's House of Trophies, and it was a perfect match. So appreciate her for turning me on to them, and also appreciate JD's House of Trophies for everything that they've done for us. And I plan on using them for season 4. So that's to be expected. ProTube, for anyone who is not familiar with ProTube is like the innovator, the first on the scene for VR accessories. And these accessories are in the form of gun stocks and anything related to controller management. So if you're looking for a gun stock, I have a gun stock. There's a variety of different sorts of gun stocks, or even just, I don't know, attachments that you can put onto your controller over on the website. We have codes for those. So if you guys are interested in not only getting yourself one of these apparatuses, but you also want to support us, be sure to go to the website using the code that is provided in our Discord. That's the AWL Discord. If you do that, you won't get a discount, but it does help us in that actually all that money that we do get, if we do get any money, will end up going back into the league, which means more potential rewards, more potential bonuses when it comes to those who win in the league, because everything that we do earn tends to go back into what we do here. So shout out to ProTube. Really, really good products over there. Couldn't recommend better. Also, Dubby. Dubby is, well, I'm actually drinking it right now. I'm almost out of another tub. I have 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 9 tubs that I've gone through. I've had pretty much every single flavor. I love Dubby. And if you use AHC at checkout, you get, what was it, 10%? Yeah, 10% off your total purchase. I love every single flavor. It's a good energy supplement. And yeah, I love it. I wouldn't recommend other. I've tried others. I love Dubby. So be sure to check it out. Dubby.gg, use AHC at checkout to get some percentage off and save yourself some money while getting a fantastic drink. All right, I think I've stalled long enough. I'm going to move forward now, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rules, what this is going to look like for you guys. We're going to bring it to the big screen, okay? And we're going to take a peek at what we got here. Okay, so now I need to interact with this. Yeah, your dark corner is calling. Yeah, none of that, okay? No more dark corners, Puddles. Okay, so as you can see, the format is going to be relatively the same. So I'm going to go through this as if people are new. A lot of people in chat right now are not new. You're familiar with the format of the league, and that's okay. No worries, okay? Hold on, give me 1 second. If I put that here, yeah, that just puts everything behind. Okay, we'll just leave it where it was then. So a lot of this is going to sound familiar, but do keep in mind for anyone who is ready or playing for the 4th season of the World League, a lot of this has also transferred over. In fact, a lot of the changes that I was making for Season 4 rules are actually implemented here as well. So if you're returning, you're here to learn how to Alvo. Well, I can't do that. I am definitely not a master of Alvo. But if you are planning on competing in Season 4, please do pay attention because there are a few changes. So let's get started. For anyone looking at this, yes, the table of contents should be accurate. Plus, just if you don't know, what you can do is you can click on one of these and you'll see this little hyperlink. If you click on this hyperlink, it'll bring you right to it. You don't have to scroll to it. So if you're looking at forfeits and withdrawals and you just want to go to it, you can literally click it and it'll bring it right there to the page that you want, okay? So if you're ever interested or you don't know how to use these documents, I have put a hyperlink to every single thing on here, and it'll bring you right to the page that you're looking for. Okay, if you're sick of scrolling or you don't know where it is, or you're like, okay, I just want to go to this specific spot, just click on whatever and it will bring you right to the spot. Okay, so we're going to go over each of these sections as if everybody's new, so please pay attention. We're going to start at the event entry. We are looking to have participants, captains, and everybody who's going to be participating register by the 21st of February. This is because we have a planned start of around like the 1st of March, okay? This this could be extended a little bit, but I think we've given plenty of time from January through February to get players to get together, form teams, and get prepared. Now we're not really using gaming synergy for the Challenger League quite yet because at present there isn't a system to really that it has a round robin system, but we'll get to the scoring and we'll get to the procession later. But I just want to let you know, like, you don't have to worry about creating an account on Gaming Synergy right now. However, I encourage you to create an account on Gaming Synergy regardless, especially if you plan on playing in future seasons. So if you have players or if you have captains who are forming teams, make sure everything is together. The rosters, logos, if there are any, make sure to put all that in the Discord, the appropriate Discord channel, by the 21st of February. And any captains who are helping, please make sure that this is done as well. I know being a captain, or not a captain, a coach, if you're a coach, please make sure that the teams are doing this as well. Now, I know it can be kind of difficult. Regarding, leading a team, trying to coach them and get them really focused on what's going on and like keeping things organized. But as a coach, that's part of the job. So please consider helping them move things along and keep some sort of timeline. Like I said, an extension may be implemented depending on applicants, and for the Challenger League, there's no admittance fee. This league was, I mean, it's been contemplated before, but in reality, there was no means for me personally to really make sure that it was going to happen. So the reason it's happening at all is thanks to the person who I am running it for. Ultimately, they're the ones that were able to make this happen. So there's no admittance fee, but I believe there will be rewards. This person says that there is a reward that they're offering, so keep that in mind. In the reward section, it says that there isn't any, or there might not be any. Just keep in mind that might change, okay? Teams must be available to play between these times, so we're looking at Eastern Central Time, or EST, and GMT. So 6 to 11 p.m. These are times that players should be available to play. You should try to schedule within those hours. That's just a strong recommendation. I'm going to do something real quick. I am going to... There, made it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. So please try to keep it within those hours. It just makes it easier for monitoring, for scheduling. If there's a certain time frame that works better, you guys can certainly schedule outside that. Just make sure everybody is in agreement. And when we get to any disputes, we'll talk about that later. But if there are disputes around matchmaking, you'll have to speak with admin about it, and we'll help you get that sorted. Matches may be played outside the window, but if there are issues, speak with the admin team. Players and teams may play with other organizations and or leagues, but this will not be a valid reason for scheduling issues for AWL Challenger League matches. So in other words, you can play in other leagues by all means, but when you're scheduling things and you're like, well, I got this match on, I have this match on this day and for a different league, and that doesn't really work. If the other team is accommodating, but that's the only day that they can play, I mean, we can't use that as an excuse to not participate. This is also why we have subs, right? We have teams of 10 or up to 10, so that, if one player cannot play, that's fine. You should have substitutes, but that's not a reason to postpone or like reschedule a match simply because you have something else going on or another league going on. If it's a personal life issue, that's different though. It says all teams must provide a team logo in the appropriate Discord channel. I'm going to give the Challenger League players a little bit of a pass. However, I do offer up my services in creating logos, even if they're temporary logos. I'm not the best at doing it, but I can make some pretty mean ones. So if you're interested in a logo and you're like, man, I don't want to pay for one, or I don't have that creativity to make one, just reach out to me and I can make one. Team rosters: all teams must have at least one captain to act as a spokesperson and match scheduler. This is a huge component to the team, and it's a figure that is critical for matchmaking and just team-to-team communication. So make sure there is one person who's reliable, and please make sure that this person is reliable not only in communication, but they are reliable in responding. Like, if you can communicate fine, like if you're a good speaker, you're articulate, what have you, fine, but you got to be prompt. You got to be able to respond. You got to be attentive to Discord, and also you have to have a degree of sportsmanship and professional etiquette. I don't want to see anyone being a nasty person in Discord. So make sure it's someone that's reliable, kind, and can communicate effectively. There must be a minimum of 4 players, so an entire squad of 5 must be made. You can keep it to 5, but I suggest and recommend that you don't have just 5. I would recommend having upwards to 7 to 10, simply because if there are players that cannot compete on a certain day, as we were discussing before, you want to have those substitutes. So make sure you have a roster that's larger than 5. But if you are a reliable team, a team that is never going to miss a day or is always going to be available, then a team of 5 is perfectly fine. But again, this is not going to be a reason why you have to reschedule or what have you, unless there's, existential reasons that would have to then be shared with the admin team, and things would be sorted that way. Players can also be designated as lieutenants. So these are like people who assist the captain in scheduling if the captain isn't available, or if there's some sort of order that needs to be done. Like, lieutenants can help post scores and stuff in Gaming Synergy. We've seen that with the AWL. Lieutenants are also viewed similarly to captains, but captains should be designated as the figureheads, essentially, and they're the ones that most everybody goes to. Those will be the ones that the admin and moderators go to, the captain. If the captain is not available and we cannot get a hold of them, we will be going to the lieutenants. All captains and lieutenants must be present in the Discord. In other words, if you're not a captain and if you're not a lieutenant, you're just a player and you're not in the Discord, that is okay. You don't have to be, but I highly, highly, highly recommend that you are in the Discord so that you can, stay abreast of everything that's going on. So please, even if you are just a player, please join the Discord. It'll be worth the time. And if you're worried about people getting on your case, for anyone who is currently in the Discord, you can see that there is a general section where everybody can get together and hang out. And then there's a section specifically for each league. So there's a Challenger League, and there's even a Season 4 AWL Discord channel that are separate from the general. And by the way, just to shout out, we have 200 plus members in the AWL Discord, which is phenomenal. I love seeing that. There's no restriction on the locale of players. You can play from anywhere in the world, and players must use their main account. I personally have multiple accounts. I have 2 different beta accounts. I have an Oculus account. I have a Steam account. I have a PlayStation account. I don't have a Pico account, but I play primarily on my PlayStation account. So you'll always see my name on Gaming Synergy or on the team card as Almighty Onimusha, even though I am known as Wolf throughout the community. So make sure you use the one and only main account that you will be competing with. If you have alternate accounts, these have to be approved before you can even play on a separate account. The reason being is because it helps us keep track of who is actually playing at any given time, and you don't want to be switching things up mid-season. And it also helps us keep track if there's anyone who's trying to loophole the rules. In other words, they have an alt account, like they're a really high player, like a longtime player has competed before, but they have an alt account and they try to appear as a new player. This helps us keep track of who is who. So we have to know all these alternate accounts if you have them. If you don't and you only have one account, that's okay. but it has to be declared to admin before participating in a match. If it isn't declared, this can lead to forfeiture or point deduction. So only one account can be registered for a region. You can have multiple accounts on a roster, or you cannot have multiple accounts on a roster or across multiple teams with a single region. So if my Almighty Onimusha account is with Paragon, but then I'm on, let's say, Trauma with my Wolf Craze account, which is on Steam and or Oculus, I can't compete for both teams within the same league. So knowing both accounts would mean I'm not eligible to compete on both teams. I would have to pick one. If a player switches from one platform to another, the name of the player for the platform to which they are switching must be declared prior to switching. If it is not declared prior to the scheduled match, said player cannot participate in the match. So you have to do it on the day or the day before, at least minimum day before the scheduled match. Players who are already competing or have competed at a higher level cannot participate. This is specific for the Challenger League. Players found to be using an alias to purposely work around this will be struck with a 3-week suspension from any upcoming AWL season. So please, if you are planning to compete in the Challenger League and you are an AWL competitor, this scene is not for you, because this is for people who have not competed in the AWL before. This is specifically for new players or people looking to enter the competitive scene. Now, these could be competitive players from other games, but Alvo is different. So please keep that in mind. If you are caught, let's say it's Greasy Taint, because you're the last name I see on the chatter list. If you are Greasy Taint and you go by a different alias to compete in the Challenger League and you are found out, you cannot play for the first 3 weeks of the new AWL season. Okay? Not saying that Greasy would ever do that. He's too good of a guy. But there's your example. So do not work around this. I want this to be a good experience for new players. I want this to be a good experience for new competitors. Do not make this a pain in the ass situation where a lot of old time or old league players are coming in and just destroying the competition. We don't want that. New teams who actively enlist veteran players to compete with them and knowingly hide this fact will be struck with an immediate forfeit for their current week game and will start with a 2-point deficit in their upcoming game. So in other words, if you are a captain of a team, and let's say, well, now we got Puddles as the last person on the chatter list, and let's say you throw Puddles on your roster, but she is going under a different alias, and admin finds out, or it's brought to our attention, the week that you are to play, you will forfeit that game, and in the following week, you will start with a 2-point deficit, which means you will have to work and win 2 extra games just to try and win that match. So don't cheat. Please, do not put yourself in a position where you're going to hurt your team, okay? You're going to look shameful, you're going to be embarrassed, and I'll make sure you're embarrassed, because it's not fair to everybody else. And I'm not an asshole, but you're a bigger asshole if you decide that you want to cheat. Okay? What if you let someone use your account? This has to be disclosed, for one. This would have to be disclosed, and I would suggest, because multiple accounts can be made on any platform, whether it's Steam, Pico, Meta, or PlayStation, I would suggest making another account. So for example, when we were doing this little beta competition before the game even launched, I was under an account that I made for my son. It was called Baby Yoda. So I always came up as Baby Yoda in the game itself. So I would recommend making an extra account. I wouldn't let, I wouldn't. And if you want to help them rank up so that they get all their weapons, that's perfectly fine. You could do that, but my recommendation is do it under a different account, because the only reason I request that is because I cannot guarantee that a person like Puddles, if you were to give Anakin your account to play under, I cannot guarantee Anakin is actually playing your account if it still says Puddles. So it would have to be under a different account. All right, moving on. Team rosters are managed in the Discord at present. If you join the AWL, you will be managing it not only in Discord, but also in Gaming Synergy. The reason I do that is because Discord, for one, not everybody has an account on Gaming Synergy, and anyone who's competing, anyone who's competing should have a Gaming Synergy account. But if you don't have a Gaming Synergy account, I still want this information accessible to people. So that's why I try to have people do it in both places. So team rosters in this case, because Gaming Synergy isn't involved in terms of team management and season procession, team rosters should be managed in the Discord. In fact, we can look at that after the fact. If you guys are interested, just let me know. All changes to team rosters must be updated in the appropriate Discord channel immediately, and new additions will be subject to a 7-day wait period if added once the event has started. So in other words, once the season starts, if there is a new player who is added, there is a week wait period. This is standard. This is what we have in the AWO as well. You cannot play that week. So if you have a game scheduled for Friday, you add someone on Monday, that new person added to the roster cannot compete in your Friday match. They have to wait till the following week. New players cannot be added or removed once the regulation season is at 30% completion. So if it's a 10-week if it's 10-week league, then after 3 weeks, once the 3 weeks has passed, you cannot add anyone after that. So keep that in mind, and I will let people know when that is, because it's not always 10 weeks. It's not always that clean. So I'll be sure to let everybody know when you can no longer add people, or at least I'll try to remember. If I don't, I've had plenty of people keep me honest. So I appreciate that. Fielding a player in an event who is not listed on the roster, or if the name does not exactly match the provided account name, will result in the match being a forfeit. Any hype or any blueprint you see here is a hyperlink, so that if you see it blue and you're like, okay, well, what's the process for forfeiture? You can literally just click on that and it'll bring it to you, or bring you to the section. Okay. Even if you rename an account, this will not be accepted. So any changes in any name, if it is not correct in what we have for your player, in other words, if Almighty Onimusha is All Might Oni, that is not acceptable. You can reasonably suspect, oh, that's just Wolf in his account, but it doesn't match what we have in our log. Therefore, that doesn't count. People need to be very clear. They have to be consistent with the language. They have to be consistent with the spelling. So, hey, Deep, how's it going, man? How many teams? Well, I'm not entirely certain right now. I'm aware of at least 2, and there might be more. But I'm not. I was asked if I could, or I had put it out there if people wanted me to do this, and yeah, there were a few people who wanted me to do this. So I'm hoping to get more, but I'm aware of 2 right now. In fact, I'll be helping scrimmage a team tomorrow. So players may only be a member of one team in the same regional standard league at any given time, meaning you can play for an EU standard team and also an NA standard team, but not 2 NA teams or EU standard teams at the same time. This is true if regional leagues are separate. In other words, if there's an NA league and an EU league, so let's say we have 20 teams and we have 10 EU teams and 10 NA teams, we'll likely separate the regions, and they can compete in their own competition, create some seeding, and then bring them together to have a world event. Ideologically, that would be great. That has never happened, but I would love to get there. But that's what it's speaking to. So in our current state of play, this is not the case. So you can only play for one team. You cannot play for 2 different teams at this point. Okay. But I left it in here just as a reference. A player cannot compete on opposing regional teams that are going or likely to compete against each other. So players' regions should be added to their name on the roster when updating rosters in the appropriate Discord channel. This is the region in which they are located and not necessarily the region they are originally from. So I've had people who have European, like their original place of location was in Europe, but let's say they have moved over to the United States or moved over to Canada, they're essentially in the NA region, then the region title should change from EU to NA. It's so that we know where your connection to the server is, because if you keep it EU, we see a ping that doesn't necessarily correlate well with that, then it's going to bring into question, where you are regionally. It's important. It's important for some things. Okay. So if you could just make sure that you have that tag on. Why would anyone move to Canada? That's a good question. I don't know. You might want to ask Titch about that. Now that he's actually a Canadian citizen. Knowingly and intentionally circumventing roster rules by any means, such as a player using someone else's account, claiming to be from another region, smurf secondary accounts in order to play on multiple teams, will result in an instant ban from the player from the AWL for the remainder of the season. So this is also true for the Challenger League. If there is anyone who is trying to circumvent the rules, or there's some sort of issue with trying to, manipulate the circumstances so that it works in their favor, this can lead to a ban for the remainder of the season. Now, I only say the remainder of the season simply because I want people to come back and play. I don't want people to feel like they can't come back and play. But, the offense can be very severe, so the consequence will be very severe. So future offenses up to 3 will result in a permanent ban from future AWL events. Fortunately, I have not encountered this. Yes, you can coach Challenger and play for World League. That's a very good question, Mooger. Yes, you can do that. Yes, I will get to that in a moment, Deep. So if you have 3 offenses, and I do keep track. If you have 3 offenses, you can be banned from the from future AW events, period. I haven't encountered this yet. People have gotten very, very close, but as the seasons progress and the offenses have minimized, we haven't run into this situation yet. So the asterisk where it says player regions should be added. This is not a requirement, but it's recommended to manage ping balance and possible disputes. So please keep that in mind. League structure, depending on the number of team entrants, the league may be split into multiple regions. That's what I was talking about before. Team draws, if split into multiple groups, teams will be randomly selected and split across their regional groups. If there is no split, in this case, there won't be any split of the regions. Continue on with section 3 of this category. So competition will proceed in a double elimination, and this is specific for Challenger League. So if you look at the AWL Season 4 rules, this will look a little bit different. I haven't released those yet. It has been updated, but just know that this is specific for Challenger League. Competition will proceed in a double elimination tournament style format. Teams will be organized in a random fashion, as seeding is not used as a qualifier. I will do the random seeding live for everybody when all teams have registered. Games must be played weekly to completion to determine the overall winner. Matches will conclude after the team with the first to 4 wins is determined. So if you guys remember how last season's playoffs went, that's the same format for this league. So it's literally just a bracket. That's it. There is no seeding. Okay. Scheduling and no-show. Matches must be arranged using the appropriate matchmaking channel on Discord. Please, please, please do not try to schedule in private DMs. Do not schedule in the general chat. There is a specific channel in the Challenger League section for matchmaking. Please use that. If you don't use that and I can't see it or moderators can't see it, then if there's a dispute or if there's an issue, we cannot help. And I will not help because you are not giving me the evidence that I need to help you make a determination. So all communication must be had in the designated channels. I don't do this to make your lives difficult. I do it so that I can help make your lives easier in case there's a dispute. Yes, matchmaking. All league matches are played weekly. It must be played within the allocated week. They cannot roll over to the following week unless there are server issues or at given administrative approval. So if there is due diligent effort to match make, in other words, to schedule your match, this could be, and we can see this, then we could approve postponing it. Now, the reason why we have this in place is so that you don't delay the game of future events. So if you delay your game from this week to next week, that's going to postpone next week's matches. So that's the reason why we want you to allocate your time to playing one game a week. Okay? No administrative assistance can be provided without evidence to review. Stating conversations were had is not enough, nor are screenshots Appropriate use of channels is a must and will be strongly enforced. I don't care if Chad plays, but he will have to he will have to keep his language appropriate, which I think will be very difficult for Chad. I don't think I don't think he would be able to maintain his composure. But yes, he can play as long as he doesn't break the rules, but I don't see Chad being able to abide by the rules, just the way he likes to talk. So it's okay. If one team shows an effort to communicate whilst the other does not, and the match has not been arranged within the week it should be scheduled, the team showing no effort in communicating voluntarily forfeits. No extension is given under these circumstances. Taco dipping? Tits? Wait, what? I mean, you can say taco dipping. You can say tits. We say tits as a point of reference on industrial, so I mean, that's perfectly fine. Some of the things he says are pretty out there, so yeah, this game can be found. Anyway, moving on. Once a fixture is confirmed, a fixture being a match, okay, one of the captains must post a fixture into the relevant fixtures channel. There is a separate channel that is specifically for scheduled matches. So match scheduling is a discussion board, whereas the fixture channel is a schedule board. Okay, so there's a difference, and I want it to be in this format: Team 1 versus. So you're going to do let's say at Carnage versus at Menomina Sunday 2 p.m. and time zone or whatever. Okay, I want it to be just like that. 4 hours notice must be given if unable to play. So if you're scheduled at 2, that means at 10 o'clock in the morning, there must be communication if there's someone, or if a team is unable to play. If you can do it 4 hours or even earlier, that is okay. That will devoid you of any forfeiture. Less than 4 hours notice, the non-canceling team may force a forfeit and or allow the match to be rescheduled. It is up to the team who is not forfeiting, and the team who is putting them in a position to make this decision cannot take issue with it. They have now put themselves in a position where the opposing team can force a forfeit. Okay. Terms and conditions in audio. What the hell do you mean? What terms and conditions? What are we talking about here? You guys are confusing me. If a team is more than 15 minutes late to a match, the waiting team may force a forfeit or allow the match to be rescheduled. Game can continue if the minimum player count is met. If a team chooses to force a forfeit following the above guidelines, any aggressive or insulting behavior from the forfeiting team will result in an automatic strike. And you can, again, go see the strike system. This is hyperlinked, so you can just click on it. Well, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. Apparently, there is no hyperlink. I will fix that hyperlink so you don't have an issue with it. I thought I got all of them. My bad. All right, so now with all the administrative stuff kind of out of the way, we're going to talk about the game per session, what the format's going to look like, what the scoring is going to look like, so on and so forth. Taking a sip of that W. All right, game format, game per session. Yes, you also have, and that's, okay, so for anyone watching on YouTube, Mooger Fooger, who is a pleasure, by the way, did state there was no forfeiture or reschedule. We just waited another 10 minutes. Sportsmanship, people, have fun. This is very much true. If you want to be a team that follows the rules and says, yes, we can force a forfeit after 15 minutes of waiting, you certainly can do that. But you don't have to. It's not obligatory. You can decide to wait and be patient if you so choose. I leave it up to the team. However, the team has to make a decision whether or not they want to force the forfeit or just be patient. So it's entirely up to you. Okay? But the truth still stands. The team that would be forced to forfeit should not complain or take issue with the decision. Okay. Now, general procession of the game, lobby host. So this is going to be important also for AWL players, people who have played in previous seasons, because some of this has accommodated some of your requests and in specifying certain things. So the lobby host. The lobby host is determined by arrangement on the bracket. The first team name on the matchup will host the lobby for the first mode rotation. Okay, so if in the bracket, the team on top is Paragon and the team on bottom is Repeat Offenders, Paragon will be the lobby host first. Okay? If it were switched and it was Repeat Offenders on the top and Paragon on the bottom of the bracket, then it would be Repeat Offenders who host first. The host is for lobby control. Just keep in mind that lobby control does not dictate connection to server. In other words, just because you're the lobby host doesn't mean that you are going to affect people's connection to the server. Okay? I'll talk a little bit more about that after. So the first team name on the matchup will host the lobby for the first game rotation. And the game rotation is Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, then Hardpoint. Lobby control will switch during the second mode rotation. So once you do Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, and Hardpoint, and those are out of the way, then you're going to switch lobby control, and the opposing team will now. So if Paragon had the first lobby control, after they're done with their hard point, they will switch, and Repeat Offenders would have lobby control for the next TDM, S&D, and hard point. I think this is very clear. I don't need to harp on it. Please do not come at me anymore about this. Okay? I can't get it more clear than this. Yes, and that is true too, Shell. That is true too. That is true. Like, these are things that teams are going to have to consider. Okay? Hey, Doom. Hey, come back and play whenever, Doom. Come back and play whenever. Server selection. If the league is split into regions, which it's not, matches will be played on a server best suited for that region. So if it's an EU region, you're just going to play on the EU server. If it's NA region, you're just going to play on the NA server. However, we won't have enough teams to accommodate a region split, so we're just going to follow these rules. If the league is run as one global group, which it is, the non-hosting team, all right, non-lobby hosting team, and I even put it in parentheses here, the parenthetical reads, team that is not in control of the lobby. That's the non-hosting team. Can I be more specific? No, I cannot, okay? It's clear. So the non-hosting team will choose between EU or NA server. So in this case, if Paragon is the lobby host, then it will be Repeat Offenders choosing the server. I was told that this was the most fair from last season. Of course, if teams want to agree on one, then you can just pick one. But the rule stands that the way it should operate is the lobby host, being Paragon in this situation, cannot pick the server. It would be Repeat Offenders' job to pick the server. Okay. And that's for the first round. Now, when lobby host switches, then, I mean, you don't have to, then when lobby host switches, then they will pick the preferred server. However, it shouldn't be necessary, because let's say it was Paragon versus Trauma and Trauma picked EU, then this would be considered by the next bullet point. Server must swap every round. So non-hosting team picks the server. In round 1, TDM on US. That means round 2 on Search and Destroy will be EU. Round 3 on Hardpoint will be US. So you can see it will switch from the US server to EU to US. So by the time Trauma would end up being the host, their TDM should be EU. If it's not, it doesn't matter, but it should be swapping every time. Okay, so at halftime, lobby host switches and non-hosting team picks server, and alternation proceeds as exemplified. It doesn't always have to proceed as exemplified, but it can. You're working on it? Okay, great. Well, hey, reach out to some people. Some people might have discount codes, or people might know people. It's if you need assistance with that, there are a lot of people in the community who might want to help, or might have a means of helping and guiding you in good deals or what have you. So, make sure you reach out to them. All right. Should a match exceed 6 rounds, 2 TDM and 2 hardpoint ties? This is such a rarity. Like, I don't think it'll ever happen, but you never know the circumstances, so I have it in here. Should a match exceed 6 rounds? In other words, the teams tied both of their TDMs and both of their hardpoints. Server swap will continue alternating until winner is declared. In other words, server swapping never changes. Server swapping always happens, okay? The exception, when the following condition is met. So server swaps don't have to happen if one of these things is true. The majority of the players play within the same region. So example, Paragon versus Repeat Offenders, we all play NA. We could just continue to play on the NA server. We don't have to swap to EU if we don't want to. Okay? If both teams are primarily in the same region, the same server can be played, or if both teams but both teams must agree to using one server. Okay? That's conditional. Map selection. Okay, this was also an issue in Season 3. So to be clear, map selection. The lobby host will choose maps for the first mode rotation. Okay, as you have lobby control, in this case, let's say Paragon versus Repeat Offenders. Paragon is a lobby host. They will also pick the maps for the first rotation, but Repeat Offenders would be picking the server. Okay? When the lobby host changes for the second mode rotation, the new lobby host picks their maps. Should the match exceed 6 rounds, teams will swap map selection every game mode rotation. So if you get those 2 ties on TDM and 2 ties on hardpoint, then whoever would be next, in this case, it would be Paragon, because Repeat Offenders is second lobby host. So then it would go back to Paragon. Paragon would pick the TDM. God forbid that were to happen and and they tie again, then Repeat Offenders would pick the search and destroy, and so you'd swap teams picking maps. Okay, there are no stipulations around the frequency a map is to be played, regardless of the game mode. So if you want to play Town 3 times in a row, you can. It doesn't matter. However, there is a stipulation, there is a restriction around mod maps. Mod maps will continue to not be allowed until the developers are assured of their operation. There's a thing with mod maps where there is one that is currently in place, and pretty much everybody can access it. But my biggest issue with the mod maps is that, one, audio is not perfected, in that I don't want that to be a disruption. And 2, it might still come with glitches, so I don't want to use them. Okay. Mod maps will not be allowed until they are approved entirely by the developers, or if I play them, which I will be playing them, if I deem them appropriate. Okay. Mode rotation. Each match will rotate between 3 game modes: Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, and Hardpoint. Full names and abbreviations right there. Mode rotation will persist until a winner is determined. So this is going to be a first of 4. Anyone who watched playoffs in the previous seasons know that it's the first of 4 wins will win the match. This is different from the round robin, where it's just you get as many wins as possible, and that leads to seeding. Because there is no round robin system here, seeding is a non-factor. If there's a tie on TDM or hardpoint, no winner of that round is declared. This was an issue that came up at the end of last season in trying to determine when a tiebreaker is had. I have decided to eliminate the tiebreaker except for seeding purposes, in which case there is no seeding in this, so it's irrelevant for this. But if there is a tie on TDM or hardpoint, no one wins, and therefore no one gets points, and you just proceed to the next thing. So if you tie on TDM, like what we saw in that crazy fight between Paragon and Trauma in last season's finals, there was no victor. You just move on to search and destroy. In other words, no one gets a point. You just move on until 4 points is accumulated. Okay. So no winner of that round is declared. Teams will proceed to the next mode per the rotation. All matches must be 5v5. The only exception will be if a player drops during a match and is unable to return. The team of 4 must finish the round. In other words, if a player drops in the middle of a match, you have to finish that match to completion. And whatever the score outcome is the score outcome. Okay? But you can delay things until you have up to like 5 minutes to get a 5th player in there. Okay? You could choose, the team that lost a player can choose to play with 4. But if they cannot, and that's if they cannot find a 5th or they choose to move forward with 4, that's fine. But you have up to 5 minutes to get a substitute. All teams should have 1 or 2 substitutes on deck in case an active player, match player drops and cannot return. This is a recommendation, and I strongly recommend it, period. If 1 or 2 substitutes cannot be arranged, this is not an excuse to delay the game or end the current game and reschedule. Play must go on, or the team can choose to forfeit. Substitutes should be considered when arranging times for matches. So these are just recommendations from us to you guys. Oh boy, what are we saying here? Paragon is not unbeatable. I can guarantee you that. We have had our fair share of fierce competition. You're going to save up for the 3S? I wanted to be Batman. Yeah, facts, Doom. Hey, I've been contemplating getting the Quest 3. But I'm waiting for the price to go down because the Quest 4 will inevitably come out at some point. I don't know dark magic, just truth. Paragon is a riddle disguised in an enigma. I will solve this puzzle. Maybe we don't play this season. Yeah, maybe we don't. Who knows? That would be wise, says Mooger. Okay. All right. If a team of 5 does not, the team of 5, in other words, the team that doesn't lose a player, the team of 5 does not have to drop a player to make the teams even, but may if they choose. So, if a team, let's go with Devil Spit versus, let's pick an older team. Devil Spit versus, oh God, I'm blanking on some of these other teams. What were they? Well, okay, we'll just we'll just do Grandpas. There we go. We'll do Devil Spit versus Grandpas. Thank you, Shell. If you have Devil Spit versus Grandpas, and Grandpas lose a player, right? And they're like, yeah, we don't have any substitutes. This is all we have, but we'll continue with 4. That means Devil Spit does not have to drop to 4 players. They can keep their 5 to continue play. All right? All right, that's just an example. Took way too long to come up with the example because my brain doesn't work today. It never works, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, if the team of 4 chooses to conclude, they forfeit the match. No points will be awarded to them for forfeiting. Now, that is specific to AWL seeding round robin purposes, but I'm leaving it in here just as a point of reference. No team can continue the match with 3 or fewer players. So if you drop 2 players and you only have 3, sorry, but you lose the match. You're not playing nor coaching? Well, you're here for moral support, Puddles. You are my captain, one of my captains after all. No team can continue with 3. I have to repeat the whole speech in Spanish? Oh, fuck. I'm going to butcher that language. Bracket procession. All winners proceed in the upper bracket while losers are moved into a lower bracket. We will take a look at this after. A team is eliminated from the competition after 2 losses. As is true with standards of double elimination, the winner of the lower bracket must defeat the upper bracket finalist twice to secure league victory. The upper bracket finalist only is required to defeat the lower bracket finalist once. Play concludes when a team reaches 4 wins. All rounds do not have to be played. Okay? Modes rotate from TDM, S&D, and Hardpoint until 4 wins are accumulated. Server will alternate each round as explained above. We'll need a team discussion? Sure. Scoring. Round scores and possession. This is going to look a little different for Challenger League, so just keep that in mind. Each mode won is 1 point. So if you win TDM, you get 1 point. If you win S&D, you get 1 point. You win Hardpoint, you get 1 point. The team to accumulate 4 points declares victory. The winning team will proceed in the upper bracket. The losing team will proceed to the lower bracket. Teams that lose during a lower bracket match, it will be their second loss technically, will be eliminated from the competition. So you cannot lose twice. If you win, you just proceed in the lower bracket and you must win the whole thing to then compete in the finals. Team deathmatch, kill minimum. This has stayed the same to ensure productive play, but not completely hinder or restrict strategy. A minimum number of eliminations and or points must be obtained to claim victory in the round. It has been determined that teams must accumulate 35 points or eliminations prior to the end of the round to claim victory. Should neither team meet the minimum required points, the round will replay. All that is required to move on to the next round is one team meeting the minimum number of points. Teams that do not reach the minimum do not receive additional penalties other than having lost the match, given their opponent met the minimum requirement. So only one team has to reach 35 kills. Teams have 3 chances to meet the minimum point requirement. Should neither team accomplish this after 2 replays, both teams will receive no points for the round and must proceed to the next game mode. All efforts to obtain the required 35 points must be made. There's some changes here. Any attempt to exploit or work around the intent of this rule will result in an immediate loss of the round. Intent defined. This is where I have spelled it out more explicitly because people seem to want to play with little integrity at times and will try to find loopholes or workarounds, workaround for the wording in my document. So what is intent? Intent is defined as forcing a replay on the round because your team is behind in points. For example, Team A is 3 points away while Team B is over 15 points away from the required minimum. And Team B stops aggressing or plays too passively in a clear effort to delay the game until round end to force a second attempt. Intent defined is also defined by refusing to or delaying respawning into the match to forcibly limit the number of targets and or eliminations your opponent for your opponent to shoot or earn. For example, 1 or more players from Team B refuse to spawn when behind in points, effectively changing the landscape of the battlefield by limiting the number of targets for Team A. So please, respawn in respawn matches. You can't obviously respawn in Search and Destroy, but by not respawning or significantly delaying your respawn, you are changing the face of the battlefield and effectively trying to force a second round. This is a terrible loophole that people, well, it was reported that some people were trying to exploit. Please do not do this. It lacks integrity, it's dishonest, and I hate it. It's disrespectful. So please do not do that. Captains must agree on the score at the end of the match before leaving the lobby. Scores should be entered in the appropriate Discord channel. The automatic cutoff point is Tuesday, the following week of the match. So if you had a match today, then you will have up till Tuesday of next week to put in the score for this week. Scores not entered before this point will automatically be set as 0. Any complications with inputting scores must be communicated with a chief so that assistance can be provided. This is the only circumstance in which points awarded past submission date will be awarded. This did happen in previous seasons. People asked for assistance. I was able to help out. Now, because this is a bracket, I'll be controlling the bracket. There will be nothing in Gaming Synergy that you will need assistance for. But if you are struggling in putting in the score in Discord, then this point still stands and we can assist where needed. Those points, I would be trying to watch all the matches, but those points will be input on the bracket by me. All right. Hosting and streaming. We're almost done, folks. Captains must mutually agree and acknowledge who will host the private lobby to start. As stated before, the first team name in the matchup of the bracket will be the first lobby host. Having both captains acknowledge this ensures the attentiveness to procedure as demanded by the rules. In other words, I just want to make sure everybody is aware of who is hosting the lobby. Okay? That way there's no complication. Just communicate and be nice, be appropriate. Prior to playing, all players should quit the game and turn off their console. You should do this before joining the private lobby, okay? Doing this helps resolve any common connection issues. Avoid entering a private lobby through invite, as this can impact game audio. I believe this has been fixed, but please just use the code instead. Do not join through invite, okay? Unless there are existential circumstances that you are required to join by invite only and not by code, but please, 98% of the time, use the code to enter the lobby. The host will change every rotation as assurance for shared lobby control. If issues with lag occur, follow connection issues. Match coverage and or streaming. Why do we stream? So this is more educational for everybody, okay? Streaming a match provides assurance of sportsmanship and fair play. Any concerns or disputes can be properly addressed through viewing of the streams and used as evidence towards or against the dispute claim. Should a match be covered by amateur hour commentary, individual streams are used for coverage. I plan on using the spectator cam because I don't know if any of these matches will be officially covered by AHC, because depending on how many teams we have and how quick the matches could be, I don't know if we will be covering it officially by AHC, but if anything, I will try to cover some of them, and I would like to use the spectator cam. I think that'd be really cool. Will this be recorded, darling? You mean everything that I'm going over now? You're watching it from the YouTube channel. It will stay on the YouTube channel, 100%. Also, if you want to access the rules, you can access the rules in the Discord. They are fully accessible and viewable to anyone. You just can't edit them. You can only look at it as a viewer. But yes, both will be available to you. Why not record? So there's a difference between streaming and a difference with recording. When you're streaming, it's live. When you're recording, it occurred in the past. Recording can be altered. Parts are muted, sections are spliced, videos are edited. Recorded sessions are not guaranteed to be absent alterations or edits. You can claim that it's 100% legit, but I have no guarantee of that, nor do any of the other chiefs, nor do the moderators. So recording sessions is not good because it decreases the validity of the evidence. It will not be used due to the lack of confidence in what is provided to us. Streams are easier because they can't really be chopped up. I think in some instances you can chop them up, but you can't modify the audio. You can't modify certain things. So, until further notice, players are expected to stream. If being covered by amateur hour commentary, the spectator mode will be used sparingly, but not as a primary means of covering a match. We'd rather use people's streams to do that because it's a little bit more effective. We don't have a great spectator cam right now. I'm hoping that will change in the future, but we'll see. Upon improvement of the spectator mode, changes improve the user interface. The administrative team will inform the player base that they are no longer required to stream. Until that time, please stream the match and consider the following. The stream must be public and free to view for at least 7 days, a full week. You must set up Twitch to save VODs or ensure YouTube Live is made public. If the stream was on Twitch, you can highlight the VOD to keep it permanent. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to me and... Oh, well, I'm glad I was able to say it correctly. If you don't know how to create or highlight the VOD, please reach out to someone who is a typical streamer, myself, Titch, Fergie, and anyone else who has streamed in the past. They typically have an idea on how to highlight the VOD. Gamer party voice chat must be used during a league match. So on PlayStation, there's an option for party chat, and unfortunately the party chat kind of hides what everybody is saying, kind of makes it quiet and safe from anyone else hearing, and you can switch between game chat and party chat. So That's the reason why this has been made. And this specific rule has been defined. Gamer party voice chat must be used during a league match. Game voice chat for all players must be shared at all times. Party voice chat for all players must be shared during all rounds, but in the lobby, it can be set to private for tactical reasons. So what party voice chat does is it stops the opponents from hearing you. You can mute yourself in-game, but you can still speak with your team because you're in a different voice chat. But it must be heard in the stream. You have to allow your voice to be heard in the stream. And there's an option on PlayStation that allows you to do that. If you don't know what that is, reach out to someone on PlayStation. Failure to make public again in any round will result in a round forfeiture. Change at your peril. To avoid any potential issues or allegations, the one streaming must not host the lobby. Finding out you are having performance issues during the match on account of streaming does not constitute a replay of the round or mode. If there is to be no streaming, screenshots of the scorecard at the end of each round must be taken and shared. Caution: if nothing has been streamed and a dispute is made regarding in-game conduct, sufficient evidence must be provided. It must also be acknowledged that the validity of the provided evidence is at the behest of the ones reviewing said evidence. So the Chiefs will be reviewing this. So in other words, if we feel like the provided evidence isn't quality or isn't discernible what is being said or what is being done, then we have the right to say, well, this isn't sufficient. This isn't good enough for us to make a determination. Then it can be discarded. Okay. So this means that evidence is not guaranteed to result in validating claims. Streams are live and thus more reliable, resulting in less speculation or hypothesizing. So if neither team is streaming, guess what? That makes us, the admin, that makes it way more difficult for us to help you. Okay. There will be a 2-point deduction and a community strike when any squad member playing is caught watching an opponent's stream. This is called stream sniping. Watching AHC does not constitute stream sniping, as there is typically a delay in what we are showing, and perspectives are always changing, and commentators are often discreet about what player team positions are. Okay. With new technology available on the Meta platform, it is strongly encouraged to use a stream delay of about 5 seconds. Now, that makes it difficult for us at Amateur Hour Commentary, but I can understand fairness. People can bring up windows of other people's streams and use that to stream snipe, and we don't see that on the shared screen. So we don't know if it's actually being used. So I would be very, very careful in doing that. And this can help prevent other players taking advantage of new screen-on-screen interface. Once all players are in a lobby, if you're in game chat, please be respectful of your conversation and volume to other teams, even if they are in party chat. Teams need to be able to organize their players, and if you're asked to be quiet, please be respectful. Connection issues. Individual players are responsible to maintain their own stable connection. This includes me. I have notorious connection difficulties when it comes to Alvo servers. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but that's my life. I never blame anyone else for that. My connection issues are my own. Now, I experience certain things, and I may say some things and point certain people out, but that is not nefarious by any means. I am not trying to say or make claims of anyone's personal actions. I am saying that there are certain connections that seem to counter mine, and it's suspicious, and I hope that the Alvo dev team can figure out how to better improve the servers so that it's a little bit more fair play. But that's an issue on my end. That's not an issue on anyone else's. So there's a difference between pointing out players and blaming my own connection or blaming the connection of the server. Just keep that in mind. But individual connection issues are not a cause to change servers or delay match progression. In other words, give yourself the best opportunity to have the best connection and have the most fair play. Players are strongly encouraged to reset their modem or router should they have a history of poor connection, like myself, which I do before every match, prior to the start of the scheduled match. If the Alvo servers are down, which has happened but not very often, or more than 50% of all players, in other words, at least 5 members of a team, in other words, like an entire team could be struggling with connecting to the Alvo server. Neither team will be penalized and things could be rescheduled. Attempts to change server or postpone reschedule the event will be allowed, and Alvo server connections issues must be reported to the administration prior to postponement or rescheduling. Let us know, and then we can also speak to the devs. I speak directly with the devs on a regular basis, so I can let them know, or at least check in with them to see if there are any server issues that might be affecting more people than just the ones that were experiencing it. If connection issues result in the need to restart the lobby, all players must close and restart the application. Glitches and exploits. All right, we're almost done. Okay, promise. The use of any cheats, glitches, exploits in any event under the banner of Alvo World League is strictly prohibited. This includes, but is not limited to, shooting through walls or doors that are missing their colliders. Must report to the developing team to correct. If something is missing a collider and you knowingly do it and you don't inform anyone, this is an exploit. Don't do it. Moving outside of a map, stream sniping, manipulation of IK, or that's the character model in-game, to gain a tactical and or shooting position otherwise not available. So, for example, there are places on Dojo where you can climb into a tree and look through certain buildings to different locations. You can effectively shoot through them too. That is not okay. You cannot use that. If that exists, it needs to be made known to the admin so that they are aware of it and can tell people to not do it. This does not include, though, shooting limbs through the wall. Such a thing is allowed until a future patch completely removes the ability to prone into a wall or other surface. Sometimes feet stick out, but this can also give people a tactical advantage. So the person laying prone, I'll just read the rationale here. There's a distinct advantage when lying prone and backing or turning into an object you should not be able to. In some scenarios, this makes a person significantly harder to hit and or see. Therefore, should a player make an error of proning into a wall through which their character model is exposed, the other team is given the right to shoot the prone person through the wall. This used to be much more significant. It's less significant now, but it still can happen, so keep that in mind. What do you do if you get pushed through a wall? Well, that's funny, Greasy, because I got pushed through a wall, as you all know. And if you do get pushed through a wall, you are still in an exploitative position, and therefore you cannot play. Now, in the instance where I got pushed and we were on Dojo, and I got pushed, I think, into the corner between the metal box and the wall, and I couldn't move, I was still technically exposed, and I could be shot. Therefore, I could still continue to play. I was just subject to staying in that position. If you are behind a wall, unseeable, and no one knows where you are, you cannot shoot a person. All right, disputes. If an issue happens during a match, the captain that is negatively affected can either raise a dispute or request the round is replayed. The offending team cannot decide this. Disputes in the context are unrelated to connection issues. The negatively affected team here refers to the team that is on the receiving end of the issue. Okay. If the round is replayed, the new round must be continued as the correct score. All replays must still be reported to the administrative team with the details of the incident. If the negatively affected team captain or affected captain chooses not to replay the round, any aggressive or insulting behavior from the offending team will result in an automatic strike. The match should continue without delay, and the administrative team will make a decision based on the incident afterwards. In other words, evidence has to be provided to justify the disputes being made. To raise a dispute, the following must happen. Inform the other team straight away so all players can record footage. In other words, if something were to happen and you're like, hey, we saw that this had happened, we have concern over it, we have video perspective from our end. Do you guys have video perspective from your end so we can send it to the admin team to review? This is cordial, proper procedure. This is not laying blame to anyone. This is not being rude or unprofessional or unsportsmanlike. This is simply saying, hey, there was something that we saw. We have issues with it. We'd like to bring it to admin's attention, and you're just seeking extra footage from them. Okay? This is proper procedure. So inform the other team straight away, get the proper footage, and then tag a moderator or chief in the relevant channel. Okay, there is a disputes channel. I don't think there is one right now, but I will be making one. There will always be a dispute channel. Disputes must be reported within 24 hours, and disputes must be reported as above and not as DMs to admins or mods, as these will go unanswered. If you want a proper dispute to be had, do not DM me personally. Do not DM Fergie. Do not DM Disgruntled. Do not DM any other chief or any other moderator. Do it in the proper channels. If the admin team discovers an incident that was not reported, corrective action may still be taken. So if we see something that's strange or possibly breaking the rules, we will bring it up to the teams, and we might still take action. Okay, we're going to enforce this. When a dispute is raised, all relevant participants must record the game footage, both teams. There is a means to record on all of the platforms. Don't tell me there isn't. I know there is, so please be sure to record. If a single match is forfeited, it will result in the following. Okay, we're moving on to forfeits and withdrawals. When a team withdraws entirely from the league, the non-forfeiting team will then proceed in the bracket. This is specific to Challenger League. So if the team that you're planning on going up against decides they're going to quit, then you automatically win that, essentially. If a single match is forfeited, it will result in the following. The upper bracket forfeiting team will move into the lower bracket. The non-forfeiting team moves on in the bracket. The lower bracket, if the forfeiting team is eliminated from the the forfeiting team who is obviously forfeiting will be eliminated from the competition because it will be considered their second loss. The non-forfeiting team moves on in the lower bracket. If a forfeit happens on a match, once a match is underway, it will result in the following. Refer to points 2 of the section. It will follow that. Okay, so let's say you're halfway through and you're just like, yeah, our team wants to quit. Okay, you quit, and this is how things will proceed. Okay, look at point number 2. Strike system. Match strikes. Offenses that occur within a match and are given when any deliberate action results in a breach of the rules. This will be held against the entire team. Each strike will result in a 2-point deduction from total team points. Automatically given when the admin team believes the behavior to be intentional. The rule break may be accidental, but if the behavior that breaks the rule is deliberate, then a strike will be given. Ignorance of the rules is not an excuse. This may result in the replaying of some rounds to determine a winner. If Team A beats Team B 4-3, Team A is found to be in a conflict with the rules and loses 2 points. The scoreline would now be 2-3, and rounds must be played to determine a winner. Team A would have to win 2 more times to be declared a winner. So if we see a team actually win, but there's a dispute and an intentional break of the rules, we can change the score back to 2-3, and they would have to finish out that match. They'd have to go back in play to finish out that match. If they choose, if let's say Team A, after the decision has been made, is found to be in contradiction to the rules, and they have 2 points deducted, they can choose to play or they can choose to forfeit. And if they were to forfeit, then that means Team B would move forward. If Team A wins again by points, but rules are broken during the matchup again by Team A, they'll be forced into forfeiture. So in other words, if you break the rules twice within the same match, you just lose. You lose that. You're breaking the rules. Get over it. Community strikes. The act of an individual playing will reflect on their team. There are no individual strikes anymore. Any poor action by any player, it will have an impact on your respective team. Strikes will be given to teams when conduct of one or more players is deemed offensive or not in the spirit of sportsmanship, whether in a league match game, Discord, and or on Twitch, YouTube league match streams. So just conduct yourself appropriately. Okay. Point deduction. If the offending player or players is or are in Discord and is or are not on any team, they will be timed out or removed altogether. So if they're not playing at all, if they're not associated with playing in the league, then they're just going to be quieted. They're going to be shut up. Okay. So nothing's going to happen to any team. If the player or players is or are actively participating in league's current season, the associated team will receive point deductions per offense. Give me a second. All this talking is drying out my throat. The first offense is 1 point deduction. Second offense is 2 point deduction. Third offense is 3 point deduction, etc. This means a team could be entering a match with a deficit. So let's say you have a match tomorrow and you have members of your team creating drama in the Discords or in any other thing pointed above. You could technically go into your match tomorrow with a deficit already in place. So conduct yourselves appropriately. No warnings will be given. Be respectful. I say no warnings. If I think something is borderline, I will give you a warning. If it's just straight up like toxic, then there will be no warning. But if it's borderline, I'm like, okay, I see that you guys are fooling around. Let's tone it down. That will be the warning. Okay. All strikes will be documented by the administrative team, primarily me, and will expire at the end of the current season. What constitutes unsportsmanlike conduct is conduct that is taken within AWL channels. It's calling out individuals or teams in a public forum, accusing them of actions taken during a match. Okay. We do not call out each other. Okay. We do there have been claims that I have done that, but it's never me actually calling out a specific person. It's calling out issues with the game. I just use specific people's names as point of reference of like, hey, here's a situation when this person experienced that and I experienced this. The game needs to be better. In other words, the servers need to be better. That's not calling out a person for cheating, but we are not calling out specific people. We are not tarnishing their name. We are friends here. We are all playing a game that we love. So please be respectful of each other and keep your claims specific to the game, not individuals. Using a public forum to state claims or provide evidence of said claim, avoiding proper procedure. In other words, if you're trying to dispute something and you're doing things inappropriately and you have been told, hey, I understand, like you may be new to this or you might not understand, please use the appropriate channel, but you ignore this prompt, if you ignore this directive and you continue to use public forums to make claims or provide evidence, you will be silenced and there will be strikes against you. Okay. Causing unrest in a public forum unrelated to matches, but within the AWL channels or game title related channels, this also constitutes strikes. So please do not create civil unrest. We want to keep our forums clear of any disrespect. Obviously, people get heated, but if you are asked to discuss it privately, please do discuss it privately. Do not continue to do it in a public forum. All right, we are at the end here, just prizes and awards. Given this is a new league, there will be no prizes or awards tangible in nature. In other words, no trophies, no patches, no nothing that I typically provide for AWL champions. But I say at least for now, depending on how successful this thing is, okay? Shut up, Puddles. Depending on how successful this thing is, and depending if I can get forms of revenue to help support a smaller league like this, there might be things in the future. But at present, there's nothing besides, I think, money that's being donated to give to the winners. This could change in the middle of a competition should something become available, as this is privately operated with no consistent revenue stream. All available resources are going towards the World League. That's honestly the only thing that I can manage at this time, because I don't have the financial stability to not only pay for things in my real life, because I do have a family. I have a son, 2 dogs, a wife, a house, a brand new car. These are things that I have to pay for in the real world. Any additional money that I do give towards the World League is out of my own pocket or from donations that are given from people. So like I have a very limited revenue stream. So just for anyone who's new to the competition side, that's why things operate the way they do. And that's why I'm putting all my financial efforts towards the World League and not so much the Challenger League. The Challenger League right now is an exploratory experiment, essentially. This Challenger League will provide new and less skilled players an opportunity to practice for a more advanced and challenging league. If enough support is given towards the Challenger League, tangible awards can be provided. Important roles to note. The primary organizer of the AWL is myself. If immediate contact with any other chief cannot be made, please contact me. Otherwise, try to, at a chief. The other chiefs, or the chiefs currently in place, are Cavey, aka Captain Caveman, Hacks, me, Crispy, Disgruntled, Hickory Boone, and Pineapple Pizza Balls. Drink more water. I mean, I'm almost done with this. I am, I promise. To my knowledge, they are going to stay in the role as a chief. I trust all these people's judgment. They have done an incredible job in assisting me when it comes to certain disputes, especially disputes that I have been a part of and I have had to relieve myself from. I could not participate in those discussions. They have been very objective. They may or may not like me. That is their prerogative. but I trust their judgment. They have been able to be objective. They're a fantastic team. I wouldn't mind adding more, but I don't want to have too many, because too many voices can lead to a lot of disagreement and excessive conversation. So I'm going to keep this team. I love this team, and I hope they decide to stick around. You know what? Shush, you guys. Shush. Moderators include Plank. I think Plank is still a moderator. I'm not entirely sure, but Titch and O'Doyle. I'll be adding Fergie to this as well. Fergie is also going to be a moderator in the channels, so I'll have to add her to that. Yeah, important links. If you guys get access to this, or you need to share access to these links, like let's say you're a captain, you're like, hey, I want you in the AWL Discord, but I don't have the link. Well, guess what? There's a link that's accessible to you in the rules that is accessible to you in the Discord that you're already in. So all the links that you need are here: AWL Discord, Gaming Synergy website, the live broadcast, which we typically are only on AH Commentary on Twitch, and Alvo Game Resources, amateurhourcommentary.com. If you haven't been there, I encourage you to go there. Really good resource for new players. All right. So what I want to do now, let's see, let's close that. I don't know, not filters. I am going to go over a few more things. Okay. So I'm going to go over the bracket. Why is this not sized properly? Give me a second. There we go. All right. I'm going to go over. Let's see. Oh, crap. I have to log in. Hold on. Oh, okay. I didn't have to do a whole login thing. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's go to Series 1. Actually, no, let's go to Season 4 or Season 3. Kind of show you guys how things will operate. Okay. So in looking at, sorry for all the ads, challenge just, it is what it is. So if you're curious how the bracket works, this is kind of how, well, not kind of, this is how it works, okay? It's a double elimination. Here's the upper bracket. You can see how things progressed last season. So teams will be structured in this way. In this case, because we had an odd amount, Trauma and Paragon were already in the second round. Okay. Some teams, depending on how many we have, might automatically be put into a second round if we don't have an even number of teams, or if seeding just doesn't accommodate. But teams that will compete, so we'll look at the trajectory of German Grandpas, for example. They won their first game against Dr. Oppenheimer. Dr. Oppenheimer went down to the first, to the lower bracket. But German Grandpas won. They moved on, went up against Trauma. They lost against Trauma. They went down to the lower bracket, and they had to compete against Hacks. Okay. Then they continued to win throughout the lower bracket. They went up against Trauma after Trauma lost to Paragon in the semifinals, and then they had to, so in going up against Trauma, they had to beat them at a chance to play in the finals. So following their trajectory, they won, lost, they won, lost, and then they were out. And looking at Trauma's trajectory, they won in their first match, lost their second match, went to the lower bracket, they won, and that put them in the finals. And because they won the lower bracket, they had to beat Paragon 2 times to claim victory. Because Paragon won their 2 games in the first game and the semifinal match, they only had to beat Trauma once. So if Trauma were to have won, then we would have seen an additional bracket here where they go up against Paragon again. Okay? So that's how the bracket's going to work. As you saw before, I already have it started, but I don't have any teams. So that's why there's no bracket that's displayed, because no teams exist right now. Okay, but it's the same thing. There will be a double elimination, and it'll operate the same. Now, in looking at the Discord, if you don't know how this works, okay, you'll see on the left-hand side, there is a Challenger League section. You can see there's a lot of these that a lot of you don't see. They're all archived, like AWL Season 1. I still have all that. Season 2, Season 3. I also have the tourney and community comps. This was the Search and Destroy competition, which I kind of want to run another one. There's the Test League, the Women's Comp. There's private chats, okay? Here's Season 4, which most everybody, I don't think anybody sees at this point. Yeah, no one sees that at this point. I'm already got that set up. For the Challenger League purposes, okay, this section up here, you guys don't see admin. You'll probably see gaming synergy support. You'll probably see the resources. As for the community channels, this is for everybody. So all 200 plus members of our Discord, which thank you all for being a part of this. I love you all. Appreciate it. This is where everybody is participating. Okay, everybody can see what you write here. If you are concerned or you don't want to deal with any of that, you could technically silence it, right? You can mute this. There is a mute option, right? Notification settings, you can make it very specific, or you can just mute the channel until you want to unmute it. This is supposed to be fun and engaging for everybody to kind of get together and just hang out. But if you don't want to participate by the way, there's also a recruitment section if you guys want. This should be accessible to everybody. So if you have a team and you're looking to recruit, you can put it up here. That's still open. If you just want to talk with the competitors, there is a section called AWL Challenger League. Here you'll have the announcements. You'll primarily see me posting the announcements. There's a results section, which will be put in here. Given the fact that, after your match, I will be posting things from Challenge, images from Challenge into here so people can see the updated fixtures. Confirmed fixtures, in other words, this is where people confirm their scheduled matches. Team rosters, I put an example in here so you can see Alvo's Angels includes Joe Beat, Joan Jett, Jesse Pesci, Charlie Pentley, and CC Bentley, okay? You can see that they're labeled captain, lieutenant. I didn't put in the area. I'll probably put in like their region just to exemplify, but this is how it should be set up, okay? Stream links, if your team has multiple stream links or even just one stream link, put it in here. I'll show you an example by that. These are week by week scores. So this is more specific. I might actually close this one out. No, never mind. I'm keeping this one. This is where you put your scores after each match. I might change it from week by week, though. I'll do match scores, and then I'll have the results here. So when you're putting in the scores for your match, you're going to put them in here, and I'll show you examples of how that looks in a little bit. Discord assistance, I'm going to be posting something in there to give you an idea of how to operate Discord. But at the same time, if you have any questions related to Discord, please direct them to this channel. AWL Challenger League rules. Here's the link that we were just looking at. Anybody who's in the Challenger League right now has access to viewing this. Match scheduling. This is where you talk with people specifically about when you're going to compete. And then competitive chat. This is where if you just want to talk to people competing in Challenger League, then that's where you would go. The competitive chat section. No one else, as you can see here, no one else is in it except for the admin, moderators, AHC members, captains, Challenger League competitors and Challenger League coaches. They're the only ones who can access this, okay? And yes, Steve CLT is still part of the admin. He is still overseeing everything, even though he doesn't really get too involved ever at all, but he can still see if he's interested. So to give you an idea of how these things operate, okay, here's season 3 announcements, right? These are the types of pictures I'm going to be sending. I think this was from my phone and this was from the computer. So in this section up here with results, okay, I'm going to be posting these images. The results here was specific for Gaming Synergy. So you could see what was put into Gaming Synergy. We will continue that trend for season 4, but Sean is able to webhook the inputs in Gaming Synergy into Discord. Confirmed fixtures, as you can see here, starting at the top, Trauma versus Repeat Offenders, Sunday, 9/15/2024 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is all that is going in to this channel. So when you come up here to confirmed fixtures and you put your put the scheduled date in, this is what you're going to do. As you can see, players from seasons past have abided by this. I appreciate it. There is a link up here called hammertime.cyu. I'll show you this real quick. You can click on this, and it looks intimidating. I promise you it's not. You just pick the date, okay? You pick the time zone, and then you just pick whatever format. This is the format you want. So if you want it to say the day of the week, the month, the day of, and the year, along with the time, you just hit this copy. So if you want to change this and you want to say, okay, on the 26th of January at 2 p.m., you hit check, and look, it translates to this code. You hit copy, you go back to Discord, and then let's say it's going to look like that when you hit copy paste. You post it here, and bam. Now, why is this so good? Why is this so good? Because in using this code, it will say 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for me, but for someone like EOD, who is over in Germany, he's about 5 hours ahead of me, it will say 7 p.m. for him. All right? It won't say 2 p.m. for him. It will say 7 p.m. That is why I want you to use Hammer Time. That way, there is no confusion. It automatically puts in the time frame for you, and everybody can see their own time. So please use Hammer Time. Okay. Discord assistance. I'm going to be moving how to navigate AWL competitive channels and stuff like that. I'm going to be posting that up there, but use this section to ask about Discord. Again, the rules you saw. Team rosters, you can see here. It's posted as a thread, so you can put your picture. I'll just use Paragon since I'm part of them. They'll post you post an image, and then you post your roster itself. Okay, and you can see Puddles had put in here all US, so she didn't have to worry about putting the tag along there. Trauma has different. Now, technically, they're in different regions. Like a couple of them are in the EU. A couple of them are in, like Titch is in Canada. I think Slice is Canadian as well. I could be wrong. Slow Ass is NA. But here you could see Captain KB. She did a great job in terms of the request for posting. She has co-captains herself along with Dirt Nasty, the region, the platform they're using, and then lieutenants, and then captains. This is actually a very good example of how to post things. So for your team rosters, okay. The stream links, it looks very similar to the team rosters. I'll use Paragon again. Puddles put in all the different links for who would be posting. Shell ended up being able to stream at a later time, so she put her link in there. And you can see everybody has stream links. Gaming Synergy fixtures. This is for AWL Challenger League. Don't have to worry about it. Week by week scores. You can see the teams we're putting in week 1, week 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Okay. You don't have to worry about the brackets, but in this case for Challenger League, please do put them in. You'll see it's very simple. In this case, Paragon win 4, Droppenheimer win 1, tie 1. That was a good fight, by the way, against Dr. Oppenheimer. That's as simple as it is. Nothing more is needed. Okay, you can see it's the same for every single one. All right, match scheduling. You can see this is where discussion about matches is. Mental, we are good at either 7:30 or 8 p.m. Sorry, didn't specify. This is UK. Okay, so you can see as the discussion is had, it's all about scheduling. And then the competitive chat is just where everybody just kind of chats, but it's just specific to the competitors. Okay, so Now, as the Challenger League, you understand a little bit how the Discord works, a little bit of what these channels represent. Coaches, I encourage you to have them abide by this as much as possible. Let's go back to the desk. Let's see if I can figure this stuff out. Okay, there we go. So I just want to, I hope everybody understood the rules. I hope everybody gets how things operate, how things will progress. Please just follow the rules. I'm excited for the Challenger League to take place. I will actually be scrimmaging a team tomorrow. And if you guys are interested in knowing who my team is, it's going to be me, Fergie, Disgruntled. I got Sean, the developer, to come help out. And I hope I have Titch. This is going to be exciting. I can't wait to see what new players, what new teams. Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping that these new teams find it to be an enjoyable experience. I know it can be intimidating. It can be very competitive. I too am very competitive, so I get it. There's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of anticipation, and it's a little bit scary, especially if you're brand new to it. But it can be a good experience. It can be really fun, and I am happy to put forth the effort in providing this opportunity. This is one thing that I didn't share with the Challenger League. Let me just go back to what we were just looking at. Okay. So if you go to amateurhourcommentary.com, if you haven't been there already, Amateur Hour Commentary, if you don't know who we are, we've been doing this since 2019. We started with a game called Firewall 0 Hour, and we were covering competitive play. You can go to the website, check it out. It's got all our socials. But why am I sharing this with you? Because there are a couple of categories that I want you to pay attention to. Alvo resources. For any new players, if you're curious about what do we call certain spots, I have already created these images for you. These are not official. In other words, Outside In Entertainment has not labeled these things. These are labels that were used routinely by many, many players, but teams have their own labels for certain things, okay? But if you want to start with a foundational idea of what things are called, you can start with this. So for town, for example, you got pineapple truck, police cars, blue car, ambulance, main street, balcony, well, terrace, U-bend, counter, arches, market, fountain. We have labels for everything. Monastery has different labels as well, because you got the wine cellar, right? You got upstairs, and then you have the wine cellar. You can click on this little image here, and you can see things from a wine cellar perspective. That's for every single map. Search and destroy bomb sites. I created these as well. All attack and defender positions. Here's bomb site A and the associated bomb site B. Bomb site B2, bomb site A2. And these spawns, these are the only two spawns for this map. So if you're looking to strategically better understand the spawns for search and destroy, you can come here and see that as well, okay? There are map tips. I have not finalized these. There are some that I still haven't done, but I have, some map tips for each map for quite a few of the maps: monastery, town, house, hangar, high rise, desert, industrial, dojo, factory. Obviously I'm still missing some, but these are tips that I have provided in the years of playing. Just so you know, I have been helping with the development of Alvo since before it launched back in 2020. I've started helping the team in 2019. So I know these maps in and out from when they first started to their current rendition. So I just provide some insights from what I've seen from other players, from what I've done myself. That's what these map tips are for. To kind of give you an idea, these are positions that a lot of people might sit in, or these are positions that are very good in terms of map perspective. So you can check those out. I still have more to do. I've been putting this off for a year now, so I should get to them. I'll probably do that tonight. Tips and tricks. I also, if you don't know how the game operates, how to use kill streaks, how to design custom loadouts, some of these might need updating given the fact that we have a new UI. So I might have to make some new ones for these, but quick tips, how to add friends. That still has pretty much stayed the same. Recoil and reload management. And need to know for zombies. There's more imagery coming from miscellaneous in the future. I don't really have those images yet, but just in case if you're curious what the perks look like or what they are, they're here labeled and you don't have to go into the game. Where do you find this? At amateurhourcommentary.com. So that also has a Discord link for the main Alvo Discord, just so you know. Here, I'll post it in chat. So if you want to save that, okay, amateurhourcommentary.com, be sure to check it out. But in addition, for the Alvo World League, when the World League starts up again, there is a whole section for the World League. So season 4 teams to be determined. You can click here to see who won each season. So Death Squad 101 won season 1, Paragon won season 2, and season 3. We have a section for season 4. Shout out to JD's House of Trophies. Love you guys. Whoops. You have the season fixtures, so you can see season 3. This is coming in straight from Gaming Synergy, and you can see week by week play. There's the playoff bracket, and I also have a stat board. By the way, the stats have been the stat board has been updated to include certain things. If you guys are interested, the normals. If you guys are interested in this, I actually went over it once, but I can do a full nother video of going over how the stats are going to look this season. I did add a few more things. This includes, well, I don't want to go over it because there's so much I have added in terms of stats, okay? But you still have the stats from before. It's just there's additional stats that you can reference now. And the individual player stats are still here. I did delete them all. I still do. Do I still have season? I still have season 3. So if you guys want to see your stats and you're like, oh man, I forget how well I did last season, I still do have those stats. If you guys want them, I can send them to you as a read only, as a point of reference. So if you guys are interested. So that's amateurhourcommentary.com in terms of Alvo. But if you also want to support us, we do have a merchandise store. This is all AHC specific stuff, but at the same time, if you go all the way to the bottom, click on the icon, it will actually bring you to our merch site. You can see some of the work that I've done from team jerseys, teams that have reached out to me want jerseys. We got pillows. Because Paragon's my team, I created a few things for them, but we also have wonderful Alvo World League stuff. Now, most of the stuff that I've made, like all these jerseys, these shirts, these pillows, we don't make a profit off of. Okay, those are at the lowest cost I can give to you guys. However, if you want to support us, we do make some profit off of Alvo World League merch. So all these shirts, these sweatshirts, the hats, these mugs, I don't make a profit off of. I spoke to Fergie, but this is designed by Fergie, so I wanted to support her. It says HC 2024 designed by Fergie. We got sandals, we have basic sweatshirts, stickers, dog tags, mugs, what have you. If you want some Alvo World League stuff, go check it out. If you're curious to know some of my old designs, I finally made them available. I can't make money off of it because I don't own ownership of these brands, of the IP. But Alvo pants, I actually wear these on a regular. Same with these. Martin Pole used to be the developer before Outside In Entertainment absorbed them. So you'll see the old Martin Pole logo on these clothes. A couple other stuff, some more AHC merch. So if you want to help us out, if you want to support us, you can go check out that website. And if you're interested in seeing who we have collaborated with in the past, you can see here a little bit of history of each with Outside Entertainment, Gaming Synergy, Brio Esports, First Contact Entertainment, North American Firewall League, International Virtual Reality League, our affiliates with Dubby, JD House of Trophies, and ProTube. You can read a little bit about that. And we also, if you want to volunteer to help out with AHC, we do have a volunteer application. Check it out, submit it if you're interested. And we also have a blog. I recently just came up with a blog where I have been my thoughts. I plan on doing another one in the near future, but we have a lot of stuff from the past if you're curious to know about Titch and I for the most part. But anyway, let's go back to the main desk again, kind of give you an idea. The Challenger League folks, a little bit of an idea of who we are. Let's see. But you don't want to be a tribute? Okay, well, you can still be our tribute to the gods. But that's going to be it for us, or at least for me. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was beneficial. Use the resources that are available to you. Please reach out to past competitors if you want assistance. I'm sure there are more than there are more than enough people who want to help out. And if you're worried about going into competition, there are plenty of people who have already competed who are probably willing to coach or at least guide you or assist you in your journey. This could have been a memo. Hell no, Puddles. Get the hell out. Go read your raunchy, scandalous books. But that's going to be it for me. Reach out to me in Discord. Just look up TWC or the Wolf Craze at me if you need anything specific. But just remember that this is going to be saved on YouTube. So go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, follow over here on Twitch. And yeah, that's it. Have a good time with it. It's all in the hips. Have a good time with it. Don't be nervous. Don't be afraid. Get excited. And let's have a good league. And to all those who are going to be competing in Alvo World League Season 4, I'll be making an announcement of when I open up some of those channels. There is no definitive date. I want to run this Challenger League first to see how well this goes, and I want to support them as much as possible before I actually start the Alvo World League stuff. But that's it for me. Thanks. Follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you guys later.